Welcome to the Songwriter Connection podcast, where we look at the craft of songwriting through the eyes of the songwriter. Each week, we make a connection with a music maker, listen to their songs, and hear their stories. From Nashville, Tennessee, here's your host, Dave Lenihan.
Hey, welcome in to episode number 94 on the Songwriter Connection podcast. And if you're listening on the day that this publishes, it's March the 15th. And you know what that means? In 2 days, it's St. Patrick's Day. And if you're thinking, Dave Lenihan, do you celebrate St. Patty's Day with a name like Lenihan? Come on. Are you kidding? Yes, it's big. I am Irish on my father's side. And some of my fondest memories of my grandmother singing to us kids and tucking us in at night and calling me darling. And she could talk with that Irish brogue when she wanted to, and I loved it. She loved those old Irish songs, and I miss her so much. And to this day, I swear, if she was here right now in this room, and I put on my player here, if I played Danny Boy, she'd be in a pool of tears, and I'd probably be there with her. She was amazing. I miss her so much. So yeah, we celebrate St. Patty's Day, and I mentioned before that I used to work at Ryman Auditorium, and it was one of the coolest jobs I ever had. It really was. I was a tour guide, and I got to work in the record booth a little bit, and people would come in from all over the world, and they'd come in and they'd make records, and I'd produce them for them. It was so much fun. But what really surprised me was, of all the countries that visit Nashville, I'd have to say Ireland was like, it seems like I was always bumping into people from Ireland. And I'd go, oh, and I always make a big deal of it. I'm Lenihan. I'm Irish. And sometimes they were like, he's crazy. Leave him alone. But sometimes they'd stand and talk, And I remember one guy go, hey, Lenihan, that's a big name in politics in Ireland. Our defense secretary was Lenihan. I'd say, well, how does he spell it? He's Lenihan. And I guess his son was in politics there too. And I go, well, my grandmother Lenihan always used to say, if it's spelled Lenahan, then somehow we were related, that just a few spelled it that way. So one day, this is pretty amazing to me. I still think about this. One day I'm working in the booth, and these two lovely ladies come in. And when I'm always like, you're from Ireland? Hugs, And these two lovely ladies come in, beautiful Irish accents. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, I'm Irish. I'm Lenihan. And they look at each other. They're sisters. And they look at each other and they go, that's our name too.
Wow.
And I'm like, seriously? How do you spell it? And they go, Lenahan. And I'm like, family! Your family! Hug, we took pictures. It was crazy. So, yes, we celebrate St. Patty's Day. You better believe it. And it's Friday. And everybody's got Irish roots on St. Patrick's Day. But today, our guest really is from Ireland. Welcome, Clare Cunningham. Hi, Clare.
Well, hello, Dave. How are you? Thank you for having me.
I am doing so well. It is such a pleasure to have you on. Just, around St. Patty's Day.
I know.
I want to tell you a few things about Clare. She's got a list of accomplishments that are like 4 pages long. And I can't get into all of them, but I will tell you this, that recently she won the 2022 Artist of the Year. This is the Josie Awards, which is, and I tell folks, it's kind of the Oscars of independent music. And we're talking Artist of the Year. We're talking regardless of genre. Everybody, they throw it all in together, and Clare was your winner. And this year they held the ceremony at the Opry, Grand Ole Opry, Opryland. At the Opry. That's what I'm trying to say. It happened at the Opry House. And I know Clare was hoping that night that she would get to step into that circle, because that's been on her bucket list for a long time. It didn't happen, but it's okay, right? Yeah. Because this Saturday, and we're so happy that you're here, the week that you're going to make your Opry debut, you're going to step in that circle. Tell me how that's got to feel.
A little surreal. And honestly, when you have a dream sometimes, and you can always envision something, but sometimes you just realize, like, I had to come to the term, like, come to the terms with the fact that was probably never going to happen, because I'm not a country singer per se. And it was just so far beyond expectations that, like, it kind of does feel a little surreal. It really does. And I just have to say I'm so blessed. And, as somebody coming from a different country and getting to, stand on a stage that has housed so many of the greats before me and still does. It's just an honor to even be put into that kind of caliber, you know.
When I worked at Ryman, just walking across the stage at Ryman, I would get goosebumps.
Right.
So I can't imagine stepping in that circle. But you're a pro. You'll be fine.
Oh.
You already know what you're going to sing?
Yes, I do. I have one song, and I will do it for you today as well. It's kind of what I call my baby. And to be honest, at the time of recording us here now, I think it's just almost 5 years old. This song, the song.
You've been here 5 years now.
Yeah. 5 years, Nashville. It was the 21st of May. So in May it'll be 5 years. But I took a flight to the US on the 8th of February 2018, and so it wasn't long after that I wrote the song I will do, and it's called Aaron and McCree.
It's hard to imagine that it's not quite been 5 years because you're so entrenched in the community here in Nashville.
I feel like it's only been yesterday, but also I feel like I've been here 20 years. You know, and it's just been a beautiful journey and continues to be, because there's just such a pot of amazingness here amongst the people, the musicians, the vibe, the business side. It's just Nashville has a lot going for it, you know, and especially again during those hard pandemic years, you know, it was one of the few places that continued to not thrive, but it didn't get shut down the way a lot of
we found a way to make it work.
We did. We did.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Well, I want to play a song and talk a little bit about it, because I'd like to get a song right away, but I want to play a recorded version. There was a beautiful record that you released called Dear Ireland, and to me, I bet you I have listened to it 10 times in the last 2 days.
Thank you.
It's such a beautiful record, and to me, it's like a love letter back home, isn't it?
That, you know, okay, so you say that, and I'm so happy, because the night I actually wrote the actual song called Dear Ireland, it was like 4:44 a.m. And I don't even believe I had gone to sleep. I used to run on actual musician hours. I don't anymore. And it just started coming to me, the lyric, the melody, and so I wrote it down, and I just kind of played around with it. And the next day I woke up, and I always speak to my parents most days. And so my mother said, any news? She always asks if there's any news. And I said, funny, I actually wrote a song last night called Dear Ireland. It's not finished. And she said, oh, that sounds like you're writing a love letter back home.
Oh, did you really?
She said that, and that's the 5th verse. If you notice the lyric, it's like, and as I'm signing off, I sign off with love. So it's actually, I then looked at the whole song like a love letter. So you are right on the spot there.
Well, I'm hoping you play that. We're going to play Clovers.
Yeah.
Okay? And get the story behind it afterwards, okay?
Yeah.
This is our guest, Clare Cunningham, who is with us on Songwriter Connection today.
I turn to him for mercy and put my pride away. I hope he hears me calling out his name, his name. I know he's waiting for me. He never left my side. For that I owe him everything. For that I owe my life. When clovers turn to blood and the rivers running red, I wash all doubts away. To the light I will be led. from that shore. I breathe your light of forgiving grace in clover fields aglow. Your spirit grows in my body as I push my sins away. Past addresses traveled, I no longer live in shame. For no one's soul can chain me, can find a place to rest. I open up my hollows and carry your crest. When clovers turn to blood and the river's running red, I wash all doubts away. To the light I will be led. For I'm thirsty and I'm cold, but I'll find my home in you. I'll give up the world to drink from your cup. It's long overdue, overdue. When the clovers turn to blood, 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 to blood, when the clovers turn to blood.
I'm telling you, if that doesn't get you into the St. Patty's Day spirit, nothing will. I'm ready to break out the Jamesons right now.
Oh my God.
That's incredible.
Oh, it's so sweet.
This new album is just beautiful. It's Dear Ireland, and it's out there streaming on all the platforms right now.
Yeah, it sure is. It is. And you know, I'm planning on another Celtic record.
Are you?
Yeah. I've got enough tracks to get another one out there. And
That's
so, yeah.
Now, people need to know you've written or co-written all the songs.
Yeah, actually. And you know, funny, co-writing is obviously something you heavily do when you especially first come into Nashville.
It's a Nashville thing.
It's a Nashville thing.
Yeah.
And but the, you know, I think it was funny because I moved here obviously nearly 5 years ago, and I was writing almost like every day.
Were you?
Yeah. But then I felt like I was getting burnt out, and I was writing topics that didn't, you know, it does,
can
right?
happen.
It can. You can overdo some things, and that was definitely happening to me. I was walking into writing rooms just tired and not coming up with any good ideas, and I just felt like I was writing for the sake of writing, and then the pandemic hit, and that's when the Lord just took me away from it all and just poured into me. And
Did you come down with COVID? Did you have COVID? Or
I did a few times. Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm a very health conscious and fitness buff, right? So
fitness model, right? Didn't it see something about you in a magazine
cover?
I
mean, quote unquote model, but no, I love. For me, my mental state is best when I've exerted all of my energy on a daily basis. And
I feel the same way.
Yeah, right.
Fitness
it is.
It's a big part.
Yeah. And I always tell people, like, you don't have to be going to the gym 7 days a week.
No.
You know, but just move your body, move what you've been given, and it will serve you in the long term for
a sharper mind.
Yeah.
And
it
relieve
does
stress.
It does. It's got a multitude of benefits to it, you know.
Does.
So I love it.
So that's important. You work out every day?
Every day.
Something, huh?
Yeah, but there is that whole thing where you gotta, like, obviously I'm conscious of working certain muscle groups at a time, because you can trust me, I've overdone it too when it comes to exercise, to the point where there's a thing called rhabdosis and rhabdomyolysis. There's an actual term for it, but it's in short it's called rhabdo, and it's when your muscle starts breaking down to the point where it starts poisoning your blood, and it'll go into your blood. And so if your urine starts showing that there's blood or there's a darker color, and you can die. It's your kidneys failing you, basically. Man. And I've had that a couple of times.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And I've had the doctors like, why don't you stop? And I'm like, you don't understand. And they're like, you can talk to somebody. I'm like, no, you don't understand. This is how I don't talk to somebody.
Oh, my.
I'm quite I go on it. But now I've learned over the years that if I start feeling fatigued, or the Lord will just have me, he'll be like, no. Not today. And so it's amazing. I've learned more and more to listen to the body. But moving every day. I will always move. Yes, yeah.
Now you are from Cullen, which is in County Louth, right?
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah, you are. Really? You got it. Yeah.
And I read that at age 6 you were playing piano. You weren't picking up a piano. You were playing piano.
Hey, these muscles are real.
That's funny, 6-year-old. She was Superwoman at 6 years old. She picked up a piano, but within a few years, you were playing Mozart.
I was.
That's incredible. That's prodigy stuff.
I mean, it was tough though. Like, sight reading wasn't something that came very natural to me. I was more. I loved hearing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But in order to do that, I went through all the grades, and you had a teacher. But because of my diligency, and that has gone through my entire life. When I say I'm going to do something and I put my mind to it, I will do it. I'm a doer, not a sayer, right?
So what will I know of you? Yeah, I really believe that.
I am very, very, I'll go on it. And so I was very studious, I guess, in my practice, and I worked it. But it was a lot of muscle memory. Now there's not a single bit of Mozart I could play now if I was to sit down, unfortunately. I'm sure if I was to put the time in, yes, I could probably,
Having that ear is such a gift. I mean, my brother was born with that.
Wow.
And he could hear it. In fact, I can remember the guitar teacher yelling at him. You're not reading the music, you're playing what you hear, and that's the way he was, and he wanted him to learn, to sight read, like you said. But he had that perfect pitch. You could play a note. I've not met too many people. You play a note, and you say, well, that's neat.
Yeah, that's also incredible when people can.
How do you know that?
It's wild. Yeah. So and it's like the whole thing. It's a true gift. But sight reading definitely didn't come easy. And then when singing as well, I remember when I moved to England once I had done some music, it was like a diploma in Dublin, and I actually passed all the exams bar the sight reading one. And literally that was the only thing that was going to stop me from getting into vocal tech at the time. It was called, in the London College of Music. And I remember crying, and they made me fly back over to retake that test, and I still failed. But the teacher in the room, thank God for him, David Combs, I'll never forget him. He took me aside. He said, you have flown all the way here today, all right? I can see your determination, and you didn't pass, but I'm going to let you. I can see something in you that I know you're going to surpass all this, and I know you're dedicated, clearly, if you're flying from Ireland to England just to take a test. And I owe him everything, because 3 years later, when I got my Bachelor of Arts, I think I ended up getting an A- or a B in the sight singing.
Wow.
And I remember turning to him and I said, you believed in me. And that could have been the only thing that stopped me from getting into that, which looking back, that started all the people that I met, the journey I went on from just that.
Your journey
studying
is absolutely amazing. The things that you've done in researching you. I know that So you have a degree in music, and you started putting out YouTube videos of you playing acoustic guitar, which you picked up at age 16. You're self-taught?
Yeah, self-taught. So any guitarist out there, I always tell them, like, just kind of ignore what I play.
No, you do all right.
I mean, I know the basics, but I took everything that I learned on piano, and then I was able to just sit with the guitar and then just work it out that way. And I remember one piece of advice, a cousin of mine, he's a professional musician, the only one in the family, and I remember him saying, it's going to be sore, your fingers are going to bleed, but just go through it. And I actually physically was literally pulling my fingers across the strings to make them bleed and to quicken up the process.
Yeah.
So that, and I didn't care how much pain it was. I was determined. I need to have.
So driven. It's great. It's amazing.
A lot of
and you're still like that today.
I am. I'm extreme. But here's the thing. And people always say, how do you get this? How do you do that? I say, I can't explain what's inert in me. But all I do know is that I have that. And as much as I'd love to tell you what I do or share with you some things, everyone has their own inner being that either has that or you don't, and I have, and so I get to use it to my best ability, but I never switch off. I legit, I'm just going all the time.
I'll bet.
I mean,
well, everybody says it's a 10-year town, and within 5 years you're playing the Grand Ole Opry.
Well, that's another thing, and I'll be truly honest with you. I moved to town. I was told it's a 10-year town. It takes this
all
long.
All the stuff you did in the past, forget about it. And you were in a big rock band. We're going to talk about that later.
Yeah.
Okay, forget all that. It's a 10-year town. You're going to have
to. If I didn't have a 615 number, I wasn't going to be taken seriously. If I wasn't going to do country, I may as well forget it. It's a 10-year town. It takes this long to get a cut. And I was like, in the first year, I had major artists get a cut. Then
did
615.
You really?
Yeah, myself, actually Rhonda. So Rhonda Funk.
Rhonda Funk,
who you've
sure.
had on.
Very driven as well. Yep. And we kind of had this same conversation. She goes, people said it's a 10-year town and you can't do this. And she goes, but I just did.
Yes. People are always going to put their limitations on you. And I think there's a part of the reason why Nashville runs like that is because, one, people, if you're given 10 years, you're going to take 10 years. People always say, oh, you see, the success happens after 10 years. I'm like, yeah, because you laid your life out so that you'd get given that amount of time. Yeah. And because you believed that it took that long. The 4-minute mile was never broken. That's right. Until it was broken.
That's right. And then it was broken a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think this whole, don't get me wrong, I think you're not just going to come in and waltz off the street and then suddenly boom. But I believe with hard work, determination, and just not listening to the masses, that, because so when they were all telling me I needed to do this country and do that, and I was like, okay, well, you guys, that's perfect.
Good luck for that.
And I still have my 508 number, so it hasn't destroyed me yet,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, there's so much I want to talk to you about. But I've got to hear another song. You've got your guitar, and we're live around the dining room table, which is every bit a part of this show. Would you play us another one, and then we'll talk some more? I want to go.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about the rock band days.
Yeah.
And what brought you to America? All coming up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, and I wasn't planning this one, but you did say maybe do Dear Ireland.
I would love
why
to
not?
hear.
I guess with the timing of this coming out. So
awesome.
Yeah, here we go. Dear Ireland. Dear Ireland, if I could take you here with me, I'd wrap you up. I don't need much, but more than a memory. Dear Ireland, for wherever I may roam, there not be another place that I could call home. Dear Ireland, always remember me. Dear Ireland, oh, dear Ireland. Oh, your beauty touches all that lay their feet on those green fields and hear your oceans call. Dear Ireland, until we meet again someday, please call to me and let me know you're only a heartbeat away. Dear Ireland, always remember me. Dear Ireland, always remember me. Oh, dear Ireland, hope someday you'll hear this song. But until then, I'll lay down this pen. With love, I'm signing off. Dear Ireland, always remember me. Dear Ireland, always remember me. Oh,
The amazing Clare Cunningham. You need to know that it's one take, it's live. I don't edit.
yeah, so I'm like, oh my God, don't make a
That's
mistake.
incredible. The way you do that with your voice, I don't know how to... It's beautiful.
You think, I don't know, it's so funny because a lot of times when I was growing up, I remember having one time I had a vocal coach, you know, I think I was around 15 or 16 and at the time in school they were all like, you need to get rid of that, like, you know, the quiver type thing that you have going on, and I was like, I don't think I can. I think that's not really, that's just, that comes out, and they were like trying to like stop it.
No, don't stop that. Don't stop.
I mean,
that's what makes you. It's amazing. Got to take a little break, but I want to hear more about that song and Dear Ireland. Love letter to back home. So don't go away.
You're listening to the Songwriter Connection, connecting with music makers and hearing their songs and stories. Now back to the show with your host, Dave Linehan.
If you love the Celtic sounds, and who doesn't around St. Paddy's Day, this is a record you've got to have. You can find it on all streaming platforms, Dear Ireland, and our guest is Clare Cunningham, who makes her debut on the Grand Ole Opry this week. I'm so excited for you about that. You know, they say that you're going to sing with an Opry member.
Yes, that's the plan as well. So because a lot of every show always has one of the members, two, sometimes more, that perform on those particular nights, you know. So yeah. So
do you know who's?
I don't. Not yet.
It's going to be a total surprise.
Hey, listen, I put in a request for Garth Brooks, but you know, if he wants to.
Hey, speaking of Garth, you were in his movie, the documentary, right?
Yeah. So that was wonderful. So Garth, they put out. For those of you in America who wouldn't have seen it, and I don't think it was even available over here because of the channels and stuff, they did a whole documentary on Garth.
Going home.
And he had 5 sold-out shows back home, and they were doing a little docu-series on him, and it was including New Orleans, Nashville, and home. And so the guys, luckily I had previously, a couple of years back, I played out at Johnny Cash's log cabin. I've played there a few times. There's been a few different... Yeah, yes, exactly.
Beautiful. Nice.
That's where actually Clovers was recorded.
Was
Not in that studio, but in Drac, the co-writer of that.
Wow,
Had a studio out there. Mm-hmm.
Drac Gibson, right?
Yeah. The man. The legend. My Papa Bear, I call him. But I had been performing at the Johnny Cash log cabin, and one of the TV presenters was there and heard me play, and we did a little interview as well for a TV thing back home. Nice. And then when they were doing the series for Garth, he actually contacted me, and he said, listen, Paul Quinn is his name, and they said they were going to be in Nashville from this date to this date. And I was like, oh, dang, I'm going to be down in Key West for the Key West Songwriters Fest.
That's a cool one.
Oh, so fun every year. It's amazing. But I said, listen, I really want to do it. So, I'll rearrange my plans that I go a day later. So we made it work. Wow. And I was just, but I didn't know it went out the night that it went out. And I was on stage, and all I could see was my picture on this TV screen and people saying the word hamster. And I was like, hamster. Oh my God, no. Because I called my first hamster Garth after Garth Brooks. And it made the cut. And so I'm just getting an array of messages through. And I was like, oh gosh, what is going on right now?
Cool. I got this song called Squirrel Train. And it's been,
Squirrel Train, I like that.
It's been played around the world now, and now everybody's sending me squirrels, and I share everyone I get on my socials.
Oh my gosh.
It's a crazy song, but we're not talking about me. We're talking about you.
But
it's so cool to talk to you. I got to tell you, I met you probably when you first came to town. It was a Global Songwriter Connection mixer.
Oh my God, that really was when I first went to town.
Oh man, and these mixers are incredible. We've had Sheree on the show, Sheree Spoltori, who puts these on Global Songwriter Connection. And I remember meeting you with my wife, and what struck me right away, of course, are the tattoos. They're beautiful, they're gorgeous, and you are beautiful. And we approached you and introduced, and right away with that English or that Irish accent, I'm like, oh. I could listen to her talk all night, and I've been following you ever since. But I've never really had this sit down opportunity like we have now, and I really appreciate that because I've been fascinated by you since that day.
You are so sweet.
So thank you for coming on the show.
No, I appreciate any platform that I can just get to talk about this beautiful journey and just connect with people, because every opportunity is an opportunity for a new set of ears to hear, and I do have a lot to say in regards to wanting to, like, as much as I do my cultural stuff, mental health awareness is so huge with me, and so any platform I get a chance to just connect or for people just to maybe dig a little, because I'm going to be putting out, I'm calling it a memoir. I don't know how it's going to position itself in the terminology of that, but I'd love to do a physical copy of a book, but until I get a set of hands, that's not going to happen. So I'm about to get it proofread now and get it up on my website just in time for people to really get to know.
Now you do a lot regarding mental health.
I do.
Talk a little bit about that and how that became a passion.
Just being a child who went through a lot personally, and I realized that the way I was and the anger that I had and anxiety, chronic anxiety, was something that just was part of who I was, and I just thought that was normal. And it really, I was 27 when more than a handful of people had said, do you ever think of maybe, getting some help? And I was like, help? What do you all talk about? I knew better, And culturally back home, it's more of it was a stigma, and talking about your feelings isn't something you do a whole lot of. And I learned to conceal how I was. I was very good at putting on a front, smile in front of the camera and tell people I'm great, but at home I'm just dying inside. And then so my health plummeted massively because of that. And so again, blessings to the doctor I did go and see. I was 27. I decided, right, let's go talk to somebody and see what the story is. And he said, I walked in and I said, here's the deal though, right? I don't mind going to see a therapist. I don't want any pills. I'm not going down a medicated road. That's
good for you.
And thankfully, because in America, they're more inclined to want to just throw a pill at
Take
whatever
pill.
problem
You'll be
it
fine.
is. You know. Whereas he said, well, you know what? No, you don't have to. Maybe go to the gym. And I was like, the gym? And now I was active, but I had fallen off the wagon a bit. And he said, no, because, movement is proven to help with, anxiety and relieving stress and stuff like that. So coupled and combined with that, and because I ended up seeing a therapist she happened to be from Northern Ireland. So she already understood the cultural side of things I was battling with, which was half the battle, to be honest, if I'm being honest,
Really?
So she knew kind of but in 10 weeks, I promise you, she said, and not the gold star type thing, but she said, if everyone came into my room and went out and did the work the way you've done it, they'd be coming to me healed. Not healed, but I wouldn't be with them 3 and 4 years later. And in 10 weeks, I was a brand new person, man.
Wow.
I was just and my life overturned, because that's when I got the phone call from Thunder Mother.
I was hitting toward that. So you were putting videos on YouTube of just acoustic. And someone heard that amazing voice and contacted you. So tell that story.
That was wild. Again, a whole, I'd say, divine intervention there, because YouTube wasn't all too commonplace at that time. And I was in a band in the UK called Smokin' Aces. I put
Smokin'
them together.
Aces?
Yeah. Rock and roll, heavy, classic 70s rock and roll kind of thing.
Love it. That's what I grew up
so
with.
fun. We did a little glam here and there too. But we were the corporate band that you would hire if you wanted something a little different, right? And so we were pretty successful with. That was my career. I built the band with my co-founder Jamie Hiscox, and the two of us went out, and we also had a duo. And so we were doing weddings as the band and the duo, and working 7 days a week. Some years we did 394 shows. It was ridiculous.
There's 360.
Right, exactly. So we were doing most weekends were doubles. Man. Wild. And I worked us to the bone. I really did. Because music is everything,
Yeah.
But it was then we started getting requests for videos, do you have any? So what you would call an EPK here, an electronic press kit. I decided, let's just sit down in the living room and just bang out some videos and put them online. So if anybody wants a video, then the videos are there.
Cool.
Little did I realize that one of those videos just not even went viral, but it was just a Highway to Hell, I believe, by AC/DC, just got picked up by the ears of a girl in Sweden. And there was a lot, even to this day, I think there's over, there's probably about 1,500 comments on the thing, because there's also a girl who does these covers, but she's got a lot more cleavage showing. And so people are like, but the girl with the it's just so silly. It's ridiculous. So grab your popcorn. But but this particular girl in Sweden, her name is Filippa, and she was requiring a singer for her then band, and they're called Thunder Mother, and she needed somebody with what she wanted to term it, a whiskey voice.
A whiskey voice.
A whiskey voice. So my whiskey voice got heard on this random video a month prior. I'd only just posted the videos. And she was determined. She wanted to contact me, and I got this random voicemail one morning, and she didn't leave a callback number, so I didn't think anything more of it until the next day. And she had also messaged me on Facebook, but because at that time the request folder, I didn't know it existed. So she thankfully called me back the next day. I chatted with her. I kind of told her, look, I have a lineup here in the UK. We're booked out 2 years in advance. People, you know, I've got corporate stuff, weddings, like it was legit. That was my business. And I said, literally 2 years. Some people wanted to do 3. 2 was the maximum we would ever take in advance.
Wow.
So yeah, it was busy, and she told me all these dates and these festivals, and 15 minutes later she hits me with, well, have a think, I'll give you the website, because we do have we're opening up for Motorhead at Metaltown Fest. And I was like, so, what were those dates again? Like legit, I'm sitting in my car coming out from the gym, I reached to my glove box, and then I start taking down the dates.
Oh my.
Went home and went on the internet and saw that they were all female, and I was like, oh,
female band, yeah.
This is kind of cool. Told the guys in the band, I said, so this kind of happened, and the thing was in 3 weeks, and I was just going through my therapy at the time, and man, I was just like, what am I going to do? And they were like, you can't turn down this kind of opportunity.
I love that they said that.
You know, they really did. Like, they were all
awesome.
for it. And so I had some hard phone calls to make. Like, some brides were crying down the phone, but I was like explaining. I said, listen, I'm not going to leave you high and dry. Like, obviously, we'll get you, you know, a replacement or whatnot. But so that's kind of how that sparked it.
Wow.
They flew me out 3.5 weeks later, a month later, and ended up going on that stage, opening up the entire festival.
And they were from Stockholm, right? And we've talked about the Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
That's kind of the Nashville of Europe, isn't it?
Right.
This is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so much great music out
Oh,
there.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, Sweden just have, like, all the producers, like, you look, well, the biggest one in the world almost is, like, Max Martin. Just, they've got it in the water there.
Yeah,
like,
they do.
They do. But, and some people ask, I wonder why. And I think their weather is just so bad in the winter and so dark that they're all just down there making music in their studios, and you know.
Be.
And I
kind
think
of the
when
same
you're
with Muscle
surrounded,
Shoals here. You've been to Muscle Shoals, right? Yeah, it's in the water.
Oh, it's in the water.
Yeah.
But I think when a place, and that's why I think Nashville thrives, because when you put a bunch of people who are in the same, you know, caliber, and they want the same thing, and there's a success that's just starting to bubble somewhere, that's infectious. So when people ask why a certain area, I truly, but then when I look at Irish artists, if you come from suppression or oppression, and there's just an unwavering truth and storytelling behind the culture, that also bleeds through. I think
right away, like Cranberries and Dolores,
come on, right?
You know, the zombie song.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of angst in there.
I know, I know, and there's a lot of pain that comes from certain cultures, and like you look at like Appalachian music, or like there's just something so special that comes from certain areas in the world that you can't get that unless you've gone through that. And I think it's a generational. It's like it's passed down through the generations too.
So here you're on this all-girl band, and you're touring with some of the greatest Zakk Wylde and these amazing Lemmy. And if we learned anything from the movie High Fidelity, Lemmy is God, according to Jack Black. And I understand he was listening to your music in his bus, right?
Yeah, he used to stick on the Thunder Mother records and rock out, and we had played with Mickey D as well, the drummer, and then Phil Campbell. Actually, I was meant to be on a record that he was doing. He and his sons have their own lineup as well.
Cool.
Phil was actually one of the ones who wrote me one of my visa letters when I first moved. So that and you know, it's so funny because they had to be on computer. Everybody had to sign it and stuff. But I had gone ahead of my lawyers and kind of reached out to some people, and he literally posted me an actual handwritten letter. Wow. So my lawyer was like, I think we can make an exception for Phil Campbell.
We're going to talk about Coming to America, but I want to hear another song. You know, I
Yes.
really
Well, do you want me to keep this all Irish, or would you like a mental health one in here?
Let's do let's go beyond.
Yeah.
Because and again, we've talked on this show a million times. You've heard me say, I don't believe in genres as an artist.
I agree.
Now that's the industry, radio. They're gonna say you're this, you're that,
Yeah.
but. As far as artists go, I love the artists that define their own genre.
Yeah.
And I've said this a million times. You've heard me. There wasn't a Taylor Swift before Taylor Swift.
Amen.
There wasn't a Dolly Parton, you know.
So why be a carbon copy of something that's already
Exactly
existing?
right. And you're a great example. You've done it all. You've done Celtic music. You've done rock and roll. You've done country.
Yeah.
You have melded all together into the Clare Cunningham style. So show us some of that.
And I appreciate that, Dave, because I have not arguments with people here, but they're like, you really need to pick a lane and then do what you want to do. I'm like, no. I think it's the other way around. I'll keep doing what I'm doing, and then because like you said, every successful person gets told that prior to them breaking it or whatever, it's wild. But no, this song is my mental health awareness song, and
Great.
Suicide prevention is one of the major ones that I advocate for. And this was written back in 2020, first lockdown, and I just literally had this instinct, this voice say, grab your pen, grab your paper, and I don't know the exact time it took, but it was somewhere between 8 and 12 minutes. Wow. The song was given to me.
Wow.
I'm a vessel. And so as much as I'd love to claim it, this is just a message for anybody who needs it in a tough time, who are going through something right now, have done in the past, or maybe the future. If you find yourself in a rough place, then I hope the lyrics in this speak to you. And it's called I Swear.
I Swear.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's not a race, as long as you get where you're going. It's not always easy, living life not knowing what's on the other side. Close your eyes, promise don't be afraid. Dream of the better times to come in. Just keep the faith. I promise you, like me, you'll see it through. It's taking all of your strength to just stay strong. When you feel like giving up, keep holding on. It's gonna be alright. Might not be overnight, but with a lot of love and mercy and a little less pride, you get there. You get there. I swear. I know. 'Cause I felt what you're feeling when the well has run dry, and it seems like you're dreaming only nightmares. Like the battle that you never win, a broken record always on spin, and the worries just don't fade. It's taking all of your strength. Just stay strong. When you feel like giving up, keep holding on. It's gonna be alright. Might not be overnight, but with a lot of love and mercy and a little less pride, you get there. You get there. I swear. it's gonna be alright. Might not be overnight, but with a lot of love and mercy and a little less pride, you get there, 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 I swear. I swear.
The incredible Clare Cunningham here on the Songwriter Connection podcast. I swear, this is from the Mercy record.
Yes.
But done live around our dining room table.
Yes, and it's a piano song, so it's not very...
Yes. Well, people are going to just have to listen. There's a video of this, too.
There is.
Yeah.
There's a music video.
And speaking of videos, you got a video that just came out, right? On the 5th. Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, so the song that you played, yes, Clovers. So my first coming back to my faith was 2020, actually, of all the years, and it had nothing to do with COVID. Yeah. It was definitely at the end of that year. You know, I was walking with the Lord when I was a child, and religion was something I was so, you know, I was very, very into it, and but then I left it, and for many reasons, but one including the hypocrisy I kind of saw in the church, and I don't know, it just didn't resonate with me anymore. And obviously I went down my own road, and I just literally did everything that's classified as non or not godly, and I just really got taken over by the enemy, man. Like, it was a horrible road looking back, you know, and I was into witchcraft, and oh man, it was just like, it's just, I promise you, that's why when people say like, oh, I don't know, there's hope for them, I'm like, listen, if somebody like me can turn like 180 on it. So yeah, 2020, beautiful year. Got back with the Lord, and got a great personal relationship with him. And so myself and Drac wrote Clovers, and it was just a thank you song to him for always being there, you know, and washing away the sin and the guilt, and trust me, it's not like, I think a lot of people think, oh, you know, you're great now, you know, but that's where life begins. As somebody, I'm sure, listening can equate their own lifestyle and to like just being someplace and then coming to just such a beautiful place, the light, I guess you want to call it, you know. But yeah, it's a journey, and life continues to be one, but it's just, I'm not doing it alone anymore. Do you know what I mean?
That's right.
And I'll equate, and I'm writing this in that memoir type thing, I have seen therapists, I have tried this thing, I've tried that thing, I've done, and nothing has given me the peace and the solitude that is the Holy Spirit within me.
Beautiful
and
story.
That
Thank you.
literally, and I only share that not to be preachy or not to say that that's what you need to do, but from my own personal experience and from all the things I've tried and tested in life, nothing has given me the long-term solitude that he does residing within me. And it's so beautiful. And I can tap there anytime, 24 hours a day, free of charge. You know, no therapist can do that for you.
No, not at all. And you know, I'm all about the passion, and I talk about it all the time. It's not only your voice in your playing, in your songwriting, but it's all about you. I mean, you just exude that. And
well,
it's
that's
cool.
that's I equate that to being a channel that's just willing and able to just...
As you said, I'm a vessel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so there's none of this, like, yes, I'm a hard worker and yes, I'm determined and stuff, but I wouldn't be here without my creator, right? And so I've been given this gift, and I know that I get opportunities and I get songs and downloads and you name it. And the words, like, I don't prepare for anything. I just allow... I've always been like that and never knew that's what I was tapping into, really. You know, if you try and prepare me, I remember in Thunder Mother, like, they'd say, okay, so after this song we need you to say this, and then like, and I'm like, oh no man, that's not how I roll. Like, I'm very off the cuff, but I allow just the spirit within me to just roll with how I feel. And so when people think I'm crazy rocking up to even festivals and not even have a set list, I'm like, nah, I'll feel it.
That's cool.
And that's I will. And there'll be times I'll literally say to the audience, okay, somebody here needs to hear this song, because I just keep getting told that I need to play it and it's just brand new. So forgive me. And then it's turned out to be, it's crazy.
Patty just got home. I hear the garage door.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what that is.
my guitar?
Yeah. No, not your guitar. Not at all.
There you go.
But we do need another song from you. We really do. Can you play us another one?
This is my baby then.
This is your baby. I want to hear your baby.
This song is called Éireann Imachrí. And that translates to Ireland in my heart.
Thank a lot of people for that. I texted her yesterday. I love this song. What does that mean? And she goes, it's on my record. I know,
yeah.
Yeah. You know, talk about this, just because I'm curious. So the Irish language is Gaelic?
Gaelic.
Okay. Is it widely spoken on the island?
It's widely spoken mostly in the West Coast and the Southwest.
And that's where you're from?
So I'm actually, Dublin and County Louth and Wicklow, Wexford, they're on the East Coast.
That's East Coast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, most of the Gael talks, they're called Irish houses. As a child, you know, in the summer, you get to go to the Gael talk for 3 weeks and you're only allowed to speak Gaelic. And
that's it.
In school, yeah.
Wow.
The older generation speak it a lot more. But also in Ireland, every signpost is in Gaelic, Oscuelga, we call it, and then in English underneath.
So you grew up with both languages? Or?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be fluent in Oscuelga anymore. You know, growing up, but if you choose to be a police, in the police force or a teacher, you must be fluent.
You better know it. Huh?
Yeah, in Oscuelga, because
Thanks
if you're not,
yeah.
But or if you had to use the bathroom in school, you'd be like, Unwell Cadigum Dulamak. Gudíon leher smá sé do cholle. And that meant, can I go to the toilet, please?
Oh my! Wow.
And and you know, the roll call was always done on Gaeilge, so your name, like Clare Cunningham, is I still remember that. That's crazy.
You know, I've never been to Ireland. It's on my bucket list, and someday we're going to go there. But my father and my mother went, and one of the things he said, he got to the airport and they looked at his passport and said, well, that's not how we spell Linehan here.
All right, yeah. We have another way of spelling it.
It's got a G in it or something.
A GH.
But you know what's really cool? He went to, from what I understand, my family came from around the Limerick area.
Oh, so, yeah.
So
not far.
They probably spoke, right? Or no?
Yeah, like most counties do and can. It's just, it's not as prevalent in certain counties as it would be in others. And usually the West Coast down into the Southwest is definitely more... You know, it's some of them they're only speaking Oscuelga. It's
Oscuelga.
Oscuelga.
That's the name of that language.
Yeah,
Great.
It's a language that makes absolutely no sense.
But
like none of the letters make sense together. Like nothing.
No.
And Americans trying to say Irish names is always funny.
Oh, that's got to be hilarious.
It just makes no sense.
But I will tell you, he went to a pub near Limerick or in Limerick, and he said it was Lenahan's pub.
Most likely, yeah.
And it was Lenahan. And he said he met the owner and they talked, had a pint. And he said, Dave, there was no doubt we had to be related because he looks like us.
The gene pool is pretty small back home.
Exactly.
I promise you that.
Right. So let's hear this wonderful song from this great. You need to download this. You need to listen. Spotify, wherever you get your music. It's Dear Ireland from our guest. It's kind of a St. Patrick's Day gift to y'all. Clare Cunningham.
Thank you so much. Of all the time I have spent away, year on year, day by day, I'll take with me fine memories, dear Erin's Isle. In my heart she'll always be. Erin in Opry, Erin in Opry. Do you cry for the absence I've left behind? For when I dream about the days gone by, missing you out on the long hard road. Dear Erin's Isle, lead me back home. Can you hear a calling in the wind? Voices over waters thin, far away o'er Atlantic seas, calling out, calling me. Erin in Opry, Erin in Opry. All that you gave is all I'll ever need. Far distant cry from you to me. And if you don't receive my call, please always know I'm never gone. You can see who she's become today. Blue-eyed, weary, yet unafraid. But a part of her will always be in the green, green grass of that wee county. Erin in Opry, Erin in Opry. Oh, of all the time I have spent away, year on year, day by day, I'll take with me fine memories. Dear Erin's Isle, in my heart she'll always be. Erin in Opry, Erin in Opry, Erin in Opry, Erin in Opry, Erin in Opry.
That is beyond beautiful. That is perhaps the best performance ever on this Songwriter Connection podcast.
You've had legends on here. Stop it.
I'm going to try to make you laugh. Aaron Emo Cream. Aaron Emo Cream?
I hate my laugh.
Is that how you say it?
Some people are like, Aaron, I might cry.
I might cry.
I would never expect anybody to know that, but it's Aaron Imachry.
It's beautiful. And it means, once again,
Ireland in my heart.
Ireland in your heart. It's in mine,
Which
too.
it is.
It's in all our hearts for St. Patty's Day. I want to make sure people catch you on your website, which is?
Yeah, so www.clarecunningham.music, and it's
Clare is-
CLARE.
Yes.
No I.
C-L-A-R-E, no
It's
I.
the Irish way. ClareCunninghamMusic.com.
Okay.
And on there, and I run the whole thing, I try and make this very user-friendly, all right? So you should have no problems with all the links for everything are on there.
Very cool.
Yes.
Videos and stuff, everything. Yeah.
Yes,
And your
everything.
music.
Everything is on there. And even on the homepage are the link for the Opry if anybody is wanting to get a ticket and stuff like that.
Very
yes,
cool.
there you go.
And people can see you here in Nashville at the Moxie. You're playing there?
Yeah, so
Kind of
when
your
I'm not,
residency?
yes,
Yes?
when I'm not on the road, you'll find me downtown there on the Moxie Hotel.
Cool
Yeah,
place.
I have it. Yeah, it's so great.
Yeah.
I meet a
They
lot.
greet you. I understand they
fantastic-
greet you as you check in with a drink.
Literally a free drink token.
I love it. That's awesome.
Exactly.
So you're playing there.
Yeah,
Good.
I do a few shows there. Sometimes more than one a week, sometimes less. But yeah, it's a great
that's good.
just little residency I've got there when I'm not on the road.
You're always welcome around the corner at 12 Keys, too.
Yes, we're going to make
throw
that
out there.
happen.
Yeah.
We will make that happen.
And
yes.
folks, don't miss it. Grand Ole Opry this Saturday night. Claire steps into the circle. It's so cool. Yes. Awesome. Listen to it.
you.
And all the best to you.
Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate your time and
It's my pleasure.
your ears and everybody else who's listening in. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll connect.
You're welcome back anytime. Anytime you got any release, let's do this again.
Yes.
I can listen to you talk. Forever.
I can do your voicemail.
Thank you for listening to the Songwriter Connection podcast. Find us on social media at Songwriter Connection. Also, listen to Dave Lanahan's Nashville Connections radio show. It streams live every Friday morning on WOBL and WNOI. Look for us on Facebook and YouTube. See you next time on Songwriter Connection.